Shalom, shalom, shalom. Happy 7th day of Sukkot. This is our sukkah that we have, our temporary dwelling place, if you will. Beautiful sukkah. And we also have a talit set up, sort of overhanging in the kitchen there. But this is our sukkah, our festive sukkah. Kind of small, but beautiful. And we got our blue zit on the four corners of the talit. Hallelujah. Happy 7th day. Oops, sorry about that. Happy 7th day of Sukkot. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. And we just got back from the IMAX, the IMAX, the larger-than-life wraparound screen, and we watched The Human Body. And it's amazing, as I was watching this very scientific film about the human body, it shows how the ear is made, all the tiny little hairs that are in the cochlear area to help you process sound. I showed the heart and all the valves within the heart, showed the lungs and how they operate, showed all the different bones and joints that we have. Everything that has to be just right, just perfect, this incredibly intricate and complex machine called the human body, in order to operate the way that we're able to operate. And if you think about the most powerful supercomputers that NASA has, or that some high-tech company might have to do scientific or engineering type things, that's nothing compared to the utter intricacy of the human brain or the eyeball. One thing I learned I had no idea about is every second we generate 2 million new blood cells to replace the old ones. And when we wake up the first thing in the morning and sunlight first hits our eyes, that outer membrane, that layer of the eye, is totally scorched away and vaporized, and we literally have like new eyes every morning. So there's so many things that our human body is capable of doing. And what's crazy is when you think that evolutionists and atheists and agnostics, they believe this evolution mythology that we somehow came from this puddle of goo over billions of years. It's so ridiculous. It's such a mythology when you look at just how incredibly intricate and complex the human machine really is. And it had to have had a designer. There's just no way around it. No way around it. And they even looked at the DNA and how the seed implants the egg in the female, and the two DNAs come together. And even the DNA strand itself has so much information. It has to be in such a sequence that you can't escape the rational understanding that there had to have been an intelligent designer. Of course, we know that that's Yahweh, Yahshua HaMashiach, the Messiah of Israel. The reason I'm bringing this up on the 7th day of Sukkot is, when we celebrate Sukkot, tabernacles, we set up these tabernacles like the one I just showed. We reside them for 7 days. And today's the 7th day, the last day of the 7 days that we're in this tent, we're in the sukkah, we're celebrating and talking about it. And then, of course, tomorrow is the high Sabbath. It's the 8th day, the day of new beginnings, the last great day, which typifies the new heavens and new earth. But this sukkah, Peter, Apostle Peter, he talks about how our bodies are like sukkahs. They're like temporary tabernacles, that houses our souls and hopefully the Spirit of Yah, who's we're supposed to submit our soul to. And these are just temporary tabernacles that we're in right now. And of course, there's coming a day on Yom Teruah, which was the feast we celebrated a couple weeks ago, Feast of Trumpets, in which we're going to shed these tabernacles, we're going to shed these sukkahs, these vile bodies, and we're going to be changed in an instant, and we're going to be caught up together with the other saints and those who were dead, sleeping in Messiah, together with Yahshua in the clouds. And so we're going to be with him, and we're going to replace this vile tabernacle, this temporary sukkah, with a glorious new body that's going to be shining like the stars. It will be like the angels. And that, of course, is going to be like our permanent dwelling place. The wicked as well, Adolf Hitler, the wicked, they're going to get new bodies as well, but they're not going to get resurrected until 1,000 years later at the end of the millennial kingdom, before the great white throne judgment, and their new bodies are going to cast in the lake of fire. And the reason why they can burn forever and ever, because you can't destroy a resurrected new body, but you can torment it. And that's where the evil ones go. That's where the wicked go. That's those who don't want to submit their hearts and lives to Yahshua, or to to the scriptures, to the Word. Yahshua is the Word made flesh. So we're in these temporary bodies right now, these vile bodies that, as amazing and complex as they are, they're breaking down because we've chosen to sin. But we're one day going to get those perfect spiritual bodies, and that's going to be our permanent dwelling place. Well, in the same way, for 7 days, we live in these temporary dwelling places, these sukkahs. But on the 8th day, we come out of our sukkahs, and we rejoice. We don't do any work. Tomorrow is going to be a high Sabbath, which will be a Thursday. So, Thursday is normally a work day. But because we're in the Feast of Sukkot, tomorrow is a high Sabbath. It's a day of rejoicing. We're not supposed to work or go to our jobs or anything. And that typifies when we go to our permanent dwelling place, the New Jerusalem, which descends out of heaven like a bride adorned for her husband. And that New Jerusalem is not a sukkah. It is a permanent dwelling place for the righteous, world without end, forever and ever. So we have these temporary sukkahs for these 7 days, just like we're in our temporary bodies here on earth. But a day is coming in which we're going to come out of our sukkahs. We're going to shed this sukkah for an eternal tabernacle in which he will clothe us on high with his light. We'll have spiritual bodies, like Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 15 and 1 Thessalonians 4. And like Revelation 10 and 11 speaks about, when that last trumpet blows, we're going to then take on our permanent sukkah, if you will, our permanent tabernacle, when Yah tabernacles with man. So it's important to remember that. And also, when you go and you see movies like, science about the human body or whatever, ask Yah before you go see a movie, okay, Yah, what do you want to show me from this movie? What do you want to reveal to me? And his spirit will reveal things to you. Or if you're, like yesterday, we went to the museum, the Casa Loma, ask Yah, okay, Yah, what do you want to show me? He showed us the 7 chandeliers and that beautiful bridal place, the wedding supper that was being prepared in the dining hall library. So he'll show you things, but talk to him throughout the day, no matter what you're doing. You're not supposed to divide your life into spiritual activities and non-spiritual activities. Everything should be infused with Yah, whether you're working, whether you're taking a shower, whether you're going shopping, whether you're digging a ditch, whether you're having a Shabbat, whether you're driving in your car, whatever you're doing should be spiritual. It should be a conversation with Yah, conversations with others. When you talk with your friends and family, your conversation should be predominantly about Yah and His Word and about what He's showing you through different things, movies, culture, going for a walk in the park. Yah should be in your thoughts. That's why David said, in the multitude of my thoughts, there you are and you bless me. So let's make sure we remember that. And just like we read in Philippians today, whatsoever is righteous, whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is of good report, whatsoever is think on these things. TV, I don't really watch TV. The only show I watch on TV pretty much is 19 Kids and Counting. That's it, because it's a virtuous show. And so we need to be careful while we're watching, but we need to make sure that Yah, is the center of our lives. And that's what the beauty is of keeping Torah. Because when you keep Sukkot for 8 days, you can't help but talk about Yah, a lot. And when you keep his feast days, when you get rid of Christmas and Easter and all these paganism, you do his holidays, Passover and Sukkot. When you keep the Shabbat, rather than just going to church for a couple hours on a Sunday and then, you go mow your lawn, you keep the Sabbath from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, and the whole day is dedicated to Yah and being with your friends and family and going on a hike and talking to Yah. And so it's just keeping the Torah forces you to really immerse yourself in Yah, and that's the beauty of keeping Torah, because He knows that we have senses. We have 5 senses. We taste, we smell, we see, we touch. We have all these senses. We perceive things. And so we need to immerse ourselves in the Torah. Brings us closer to Christ. Helps us to have a better relationship with Him. Happy Sukkot, day 7. One more day until the great high feast, which we'll talk about tomorrow, the last great day, which is the crown jewel of all high Sabbaths throughout the year. It's the crown jewel of this feast, and the crown jewel really of all the feasts throughout the biblical year. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. Website is www.spiritandtorah.com. Shalom, shalom, and happy 7th day of Sukkot.